Okay, we are in Reno, Oklahoma at the Canadian Historical Society. And this is where an old Rock Island depot is. And so we are gonna go look at it. We're gonna ride the trolley, check out an old hotel, and some other old buildings on site. First, we're going to go explore the depot. While I was at the museum, I got the pleasure of talking with Patricia Reuter, and she was a wealth of knowledge. I bet she could have told me about every single piece in this museum, and there is a lot in this museum. I don't know if you've ever met one of those type people that could just make you smile just by listening to them talk. Well, that's what Patricia did for me. She was a true joy to listen to. Even as I'm editing this video, I have a smile on my face just listening to her explain the different pieces in the museum.
But we started our museum in 1968, and then we had our grand opening in 1970. And over at the old hotel, before they had redone it recently, we had a Buffalo Burger Day, and that was our grand opening. And then we had a big parade downtown and everything. But anyway, I was young when we started, and that was in 1968, and I'm still here, and I'll be 90 coming up in September.
Wow.
So I've done nothing but here, and we've done a lot of living history and movies and so forth, my husband and I. And we've had, our first president was Joe Osman. He was the dentist here, and then we had my husband Jack Reuter, and then we had Earl Penrite, and then Jack went back again, and then our daughter Vicki Proctor took over, and so she's been here ever since, and I'm real proud of her because she was only 17 years old when we started, and now she's 70. And of course, what's famous about El Reno is the three runs, and this is all about our runs up here, and then our meridian marker is out here in the yard. And that was where they started in the 1889. And when they had that, in fact, I just was going through some of Jack's stuff at home. When they were digging up to do the track, we found the spent old bullet that was probably, when they had the run, they had the cannons and the guns and stuff from Fort Reno that started it. And so then we had the land run of 1889, the Cheyenne Arapaho run. And then, instead of having all the runs with people jumping the gun and killings and so forth, they had the 1901 land lottery drawing, 1901. And that was, see that picture up there with all those people? Over 200,000 people came to that. And it was right here in El Reno. But now it was for the land at the Kiowa Comanche, like up in Lawton. And that was the Cherokee Outlet, and that was the largest one. The records are all in here. And then, of course, you had to wind it up and get your sound. And you usually had to put new needles in it if they wore out. And I haven't changed the needles, but you turned it on, and then sometimes you cleaned it off with a buffer. And this is one that kind of you hear it play now, but it's about 1920. And the intro in this is this is just the intro. and then the main tune's coming. This is the main tune. Do you know what that is, that tune? Are you familiar?
Do
Are
what?
you familiar with that tune?
I am not.
No, you're too young. It had to be you. I wandered around, finally found somebody new. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around, finally found somebody new. Nobody else gives me a thrill. In my heart, I love you still. Had to be you, wonderful you. Had to be you. Or that type of thing. But they're all made out of human hair, and hair is something that never deteriorates.
So that is all human hair. Wow.
But you know, like they have horsehair main desk that you come in there. That one was from the Carnegie Library.
Oh, really?
And we've had it about over 20 years, I think.
Wow.
And I think probably they gave it to us way back then. But so, is there anything else you wanted to add? Oh, these were original benches.
These are original benches.
When we came here, we started in 1968. These whole thing was full of railroad benches, and we had to have someone to come and get.
I figured we'd look around the museum a little bit more before it's time to ride the trolley. Now it's time to go out and ride the trolley.
originally the Southern Hotel, built in 1906. It was, I need to put what year it was renovated. It has since been renovated and are now apartments. Now, going from the portico at the hotel / apartments over to the museum, there is, you can still see it when we come up, a sidewalk that originally had a tree-covered arbor. At dinner time, the porter would come out, ring his bell, and say, "Dinner is served, dinner is served." Coming up ahead on the right, the little white building, is the old Darlington Jail. It was originally located at the Darlington Indian Agency, which is located north of Reno. The jail was built like a fort. The 10-foot high walls contained 80 rows of 2x4 lumber stacked on top of each other. Not up and down, but on top of each other. It's estimated that there are 8,100 linear feet of boards used in the construction. The entire South. Up until that time, they were housed around Reno and various cities. It was really advanced. Reno High School. It is still in use today. Eli, Fred, and I are all proud graduates of this very high school. The original part of the west half, the basal scene, was built in 1911. It was the first school in El Reno to have a stage and auditorium. The original plans for the building included a swimming pool in the basement. This was before the movie It's a Wonderful Life. You see the scene with the swimming pool, with the floor falls, separates, and they all fall. This was several years before that movie. It was kind of advanced for the time. 3 years later, new bonds were voted in, and they completed the east half of the building. Coming up on the side of the building, you'll see a gutter that runs up and down. That's what separated the original west half from the east half. So you kind of tell what one part was older than the other.
So as you're riding along, they give a history of all the buildings that you passed of the town, which I found very interesting to listen to. It was pretty cool that they could tell you little details and stories about some of the buildings there. You could be a local and live your whole life there and not know.
There are 4 statues or monuments for the 4 wars. World War I, World War II, or saloons downstairs. Upstairs was gambling, which was illegal. When one or the other was raided, you can no longer see the door, but if you look past here, you'll see a window now where the door was. When one or the other of the gambling establishments were raided, they would put a plank across from one side to the other, so the patrons could escape to the other side and avoid law enforcement. Okay, not many people know this, but there was a car that was originally manufactured in El Reno. The plant was up here a couple blocks ahead on the corner. The building is no longer there, but that's where it was manufactured. The first one was given its initial tryout in 1907. As crude as the construction was, quote from a newspaper,
bit of the movie Twisters was actually filmed here in El Reno. My camera got hot and shut down, so I didn't get it on recording them telling me this. But for the movie, the production company took 3D scans inside and out of the trolley and made a replica, full-size replica for the movie. If you get a chance to ride the trolley here in El Reno, you should really do it. For a fee and with enough advance notice, you can get a private tour like we did. They also have a regular schedule which they have posted on their website. The ride lasts about an hour. I'll leave a link for the Historical Society in the comments section. Now we're going to look at some of the other buildings on the grounds.
So, with these type of schools, basically all the grades had to go to this school, so
Keeping long fingernails got you 2 lashes. Wow. Boys misbehaving to girls got you 10 lashes.
So this is our Mennonite church. We do have some information on that sign right there, but you guys can read that after you guys tour the building.
Okay.
As you walk in, these two rooms on each side were actually Sunday schools. One for the males and one for the females. Over here, this is our petrified tree, otherwise known as a fossilized tree or a tree that's older than the dinosaurs. We have some information right there, but essentially some miners found it in the mines and dug it up and brought it here. Yeah, we do have a little information right here. If you guys know what Sid's is, kind of like one of our famous onion burger places. That was actually the original place of this hotel.
Oh, really? Okay.
This building was modified and had electricity, although during the time of its operation, it did not. So this one was made and built for Rock Island. Only 10 of them were made before it was taken over by Union Pacific and Rock Island officially shut down. And when we had it donated to us, it was actually completely gray. So to dedicate both of the train station, we painted one side Rock Island, while the other one Union Pacific. The side that you would have saw as you came in would have been the Rock Island one, but the other side is kind of yellow and shows more Union Pacific.
Okay. Now, where's the other toilet? Can I open it?
Yeah, you can open it, just don't use it.
Well, now. So we are back home in Missouri, but I want to say that I really enjoyed my time at the Canadian County Historical Society. That was really interesting. It was a really neat place to see. I really enjoyed the museum. I really enjoyed the trolley. We had a really good time, and to think of all the times that we drove by there on the interstate on the way to California and didn't know to stop. And I guess that's a message want to share to everybody. If you're driving by on I-40 just outside of Oklahoma City and you're passing by El Reno, stop and see the Historical Society. It is really neat. The people there are great. I want to thank you all for showing us a great time. We really enjoyed it. But you know, if you have a chance to go see the Historical Society, if you're local, you absolutely need to go see it. But if you're driving by on the interstate, you should stop and see it. It is worth a stop. I ended up spending 4 hours there, and it wasn't enough time to see it all. There is so much to see. So if you do stop, make sure you plan for enough time, or at least, like I said, 4 hours. This wasn't enough. But thanks for watching, and you know, please go see them at the Historical Society. You won't regret it.